So social media impacts us at three levels, whether in personal or whether in business environments. So the first level it impacts us is as individuals, as the self. The second level is as teams, and the third level at the enterprise. So I'd like to talk about self, the individual, the impact of social media. I've been very fortunate that over the last decade, as a researcher, if I wear my research hat as opposed to a practitioner, that I've spent a decade studying stories. These are stories that people tell predominantly online, but I look at offline as well. These are stories about consumers who are interested in travel, in luxury items, in fashion. And what I've found, as potentially many other readers of stories, is these stories are about sense-making. They're stories about us in everyday life, but we justify why we may have made an expensive purchase, say on a handbag. This is about sense-making. Life is messy, someone once said, and social media, and more specifically blogging, allows us to make sense of our everyday life. So whether we want strangers to understand our stories, whether we want friends, or whether we're making sense to our own self, storytelling is very fundamental to the success of social media. And it's almost at odds with new technology, because social media is hardwired into our humanity. And what I will say to leadership teams and one executive after another is the learning from the consumer environment, this sense-making, is that you, as an executive, should endeavor to do your own social media creation. You blog. Do not expect other executives or assistants to blog for you, even if you want to blog to yourself, because it gives you that self component, and that is so important. So if we do nothing else, here's a couple of tips for those executives that have been sitting back and not really seeing that social media has a relevant role to play in business. So the first is, and I guess many people, industry commentators also allude to this, but I see it directly in the marketing of products and services online, is there is a generational change. Heaven forbid, but there are children out there that don't read books anymore. They prefer to read Facebook. And they're of a reasonable age. They will form part of Generation Z in 2020. But today, those same individuals are potentially our customers, or they influence very heavily seniors and others. So it is very important, if for anything else, for the sake of the business, if we do not want to miss out on billions of people, or at least 500 million people for sure on Facebook, then we must take efforts to go online.